Okay, we've got a big weekend of Southern Footy finals coming up this weekend. We'll be starting off on 88.3 Southern FM on Saturday afternoon with the big Heatherton South Yarra second semi-final from down there at Clayton Reserve. And I'm joined now by John Bennett, the Heatherton coach. Welcome back.
Thanks, Ron.
Now, you had the weekend off, finishing on top of the ladder. Did you do any training or take the weekend off to freshen up?
Well, we did freshen up a bit, but obviously we had a run on Saturday in the wet conditions.
Yeah.
Probably the worst actually. It rained pretty heavy we trained for about an hour and a bit, and it didn't stop raining, so that was sort of different, but it was good to have a bit of rain. I think the boys were sort of pretty pumped up anyhow, so it was good to do that, and then we ventured down and have a look at Oakley and South Yarra.
And they'll, the boys will be hungry after that week off, no doubt. As you said, you went down and had a look. Did you take a lot out of the weekend's games?
Oh, it's good to go down and sit back and just, have a look who's playing where and who's injured and who's not, and who's travelling well. And
anything surprise you from what you saw on the weekend?
Oh, I thought the game would be a lot closer than what it was. I was a bit disappointed actually with Oakley. Sort of whether, that their last few weeks have been pretty good, and when we last saw them they were really good. But obviously South Yarra on the rebound, I think they got beat by about 10 goals a couple of weeks ago, so they come out pretty hard at them. And yes, I was a bit surprised by the amount they won by.
It was a good win for the Yarras. You haven't lost to them so far in 2009. Do you feel that you've got their measure?
We've only played them twice. It's hard to tell. I mean, circumstances, injuries. I know the last time we played in South Yarra, they had a lot of players out. We had that side down and we matched it up with the side they had on the ground on the weekend. It was a lot different. So, as I said, circumstances, and that day we actually had a pretty good side in. So you can't weigh it up until I reckon both sides got the best side on the ground.
And you've got a very imposing side. Just to look at your forward line, obviously you've got Big Williams, Regnier, Ironsdale, and maybe Jamison to come back as well.
Maybe. No, our forward line, when everyone's up and running, it can be a bit imposing. It's good because they're all pretty experienced players too, so they all sort of know what they're doing. You've also you can throw in Dylan Hand as well, and
Crow, Bennett.
And then Joshy's sort of holds his own down there as well. So
as I said, it's going to be a very imposing job for South Yarra to get over the line this week.
But you've got to get the ball down on. So
when do you think the game will be won on Saturday?
Oh, I think their on balls are pretty good. I noticed on the weekend that Sheen was back running around and hasn't been in there a lot. He's a very handy player, obviously. So their on ball division's pretty good, and I think ours is pretty good. I think our forward line's very good. Our back line's a bit weak, so it all balances out. And on the reverse, our back line's a bit better than their forward line. So
clearance is all important on Saturday.
Clearance is always handy, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, as usual, we wouldn't let you be able to go without a couple of little parting shots. First up, who will win the US Open in 2009 in the men's division?
Who's playing? You'd have to say Tiger and don't even know who's playing, wouldn't you?
In the tennis?
Is this, in the
They're
tennis.
starting this week.
We'll
have to get John and Foxtel some.
Sorry, yes. Federer, of course.
Federer, no challenges. Favourite. Hands out, give it to him now.
Can't see Leighton doing anything.
Well, they could meet in round 3, so we'll stay tuned later in the week.
Well, there's the winner.
That's right. Who will win the Division 2 Southern Footy League, BNF?
Division 2 Southern League, BNF. I would say Ben Skinner.
Yeah, one of your boys?
One of my boys, because I obviously see him every week.
Yep.
If not...
Is that a very good year?
Out of my club, it'd be him or Trav Saul.
A few other people agree with you. Ben Skinner.
Then, from the others, I don't know who every week. I just go by the best players, and sometimes there's a few dodgies go on the paper, so it's hard to weigh up.
Correct. But there is one other final Division 2 on Sunday. It's between Oakley Districts and Murrumbeena at Clayton Reserve. Who's your tip in that one?
Well, I think Oakley might bounce back. It was a good effort by. I was surprised Murrumbeena actually won. I know that Hawkins isn't playing. And played them last game, so it was a good effort by them on the weekend, so that could be an interesting one.
Certainly will. Oakley are a better side than what they put up last weekend. We know you've got a very good side under your tutelage, John, and they'll be taking on South Yarra in the second division. Second semi-final at Clayton on Saturday afternoon. Join us on 88.3 Southern FM. Okay, and thanks to John Bennett for coming in. Now I'm joined by the assistant coach of South Yarra Footy Club, Mick Allen, who's joined the footy club from Hampton this year. Welcome to you, Mick.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now, I mentioned you've just come across from Hampton as senior coach last year, now an assistant coach. What is your role under the boys there at the Yarras?
Well, basically I'm the opposition coach and skills coach down there. So I look after the opposition teams, give them the coaches sort of information on their players coming up to the game, and also monitor their players and their sort of moves on the ground during the game and report that back to the coaches as I see it.
So you look after matchups on
Yes,
those
yep, matchups is all part of it. We get that sort of organised prior to Saturday, and then we adjust those when the game starts.
Going to be all important this weekend, those big matchups.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, it was a fantastic win over Oakley Districts on the weekend at Clayton on Saturday. Very, very commanding victory.
Yeah, I think, look, we were pretty set for that game. We did our homework. We were pretty fired up to do well. We've been struggling a little bit of late, so we're prepared that we have to be there and win and make sure we gave ourselves a chance to get to that grand final eventually. And we saw that's been the better way. We didn't want to lose and have to go to the hard way, really. So we've got that opportunity this week to, if we can win the game, then we can have a rest.
You set up really well against Oakley on the weekend with the two big forwards, Crawley and Lloyd, and a couple of little fellas nipping at their heels. And Stevie O'Connell, wasn't he fantastic with 3 goals?
Yes, he was. He tends to do well in the big games, and he likes to kick goals, that's for sure.
Knows where they are.
Yeah.
Now, it is a huge week ahead. Obviously, you've got a lot of work to do this week on those matchups. The likes of Regnier, Williams, Bennett up forward, just to start in the forward line.
Yes.
Why will you guys be the first side in the grand final in Division 2?
Well, I think the fact that we are prepared, we've done our homework, as I'm sure Heather have done as well. But you know, we really know what we've got to do to win the game. We know we're capable of winning the game. It's just what we can put on the park at the time, have the right attitude, really. And look, our training's been great, so there's no reason why we wouldn't be confident.
Okay, that's fantastic. And just another thing on your role down there, an assistant coming back from a senior coach role, is that what you were looking for this year?
Well, no, I wasn't really looking for anything this year. I was thinking about having time off from coaching. I've been doing it for quite a while, but when Simon and Adam approached me, and having a lot of respect for those guys, because I coached them back at North a few years ago, I thought that'd be a good role for me, having knowledge of the second division sides, so I could help them in that area and put some effort in and still be around a footy club, which is all exciting always.
So you probably know the Heatherton footy team probably almost as well as John Bennett?
Oh, no. John Bennett's a very, very good coach and a very astute coach, and he knows what he's doing.
Certainly does. It's going to be a fantastic clash down there at Clayton on Saturday. You'll be able to hear it on 88.3 Southern FM from 2 p.m. live. Now, we wouldn't be able to let you go without some parting shots.
Yes.
Just some questions to keep all our guests on their toes.
That's fine.
Who will win the Division 2 Southern Footy League Best and Fairest for 2009?
I think Skinner from Heatherton would be a good choice, and Jones from Murrumbeena. I think it's out of those two. Very, very good footballers.
Well, you certainly come up against one of those on the weekend and be looking to shut Ben Skinner down. The US Open starts this week in America. Who will win the men's US Open for 2009?
I would say Federer.
Federer?
Yeah.
No challenges?
Oh, I think he's got challenges there, but I think that he's getting towards the end of his career, and I think he's really fired up to go out in a high note.
Okay, and finally, the other final in Division 2 this weekend between Oakley Districts and Murrumbeena. Who do you see winning that one?
I think Murrumbeena. I watched Murrumbeena on Sunday, and I thought they played pretty well. And I know that Oakley's got a few injuries, so I think it's going to hurt them. But I think Murrumbeena's physicality, I think, might get them across the line.
Okay, very interesting there, Mick Allen. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll see you on Saturday afternoon as your boys take on Heatherton. Don't forget, 88.3 from 2 p.m. Saturday. See you there.